Hello and welcome back to Money Never Sleeps. My name is Ty Moore from M&A Wealth. If you'd like more information about what you hear during the show, give us a call at 866-973-3627 or visit us online at mnawealth.com. And while at my website, click on the page to check out past shows and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Today's discussion is based on a recent Kiplinger article titled, "It's Time to Bust These 3 Long-Term Care Myths and Face Some Uncomfortable Truths." And I want to walk through those myths, the realities behind them, and then broaden the conversation into practical ways long-term care expenses can be addressed. When I meet with clients who are planning for retirement, we naturally spend a lot of time talking about the enjoyable parts of that chapter of life. More freedom, more time with family, travel, hobbies, maybe even some well-earned rest after decades of hard work. But responsible retirement planning also means preparing for possibilities we hope never happen, including the potential need for long-term care. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is that long-term care automatically means a nursing home. For many people, that's the first image that comes to mind. And to be fair, nursing homes are one form of long-term care. In fact, according to the Kiplinger article, about 1.2 million Americans currently reside in nursing home facilities. But a nursing home is just one type of care and often not the first type of care someone needs. Long-term care actually exists on a spectrum. For example, there are homemaker services. These services assist older individuals with everyday tasks such as meal planning, grocery shopping, transportation, and other non-medical needs that can become more difficult over time. Then there are home health aides. These professionals monitor health and well-being for individuals with disabilities or chronic illnesses and assist with daily living activities. There's also adult day health care, which provides older adults who may have physical or cognitive challenges with supervised care and an opportunity to socialize during the day. And then there are assisted living facilities. These are designed for individuals who need help with daily care, but not at the level of a nursing home. Residents typically have their own apartment or room, but share common areas and receive supportive services. So when we talk about long-term care, we're not just talking about one facility type. We're talking about a wide range of care options that vary in intensity and cost. And speaking of cost, that's where planning becomes critical. According to a Genworth CareScout Cost of Care report referenced in the article, the nationwide average costs in 2024 are significant. Homemaker services average about $75,500 per year. A home health aide averages roughly $77,800 annually. Adult day health care averages about $26,000 per year. Assisted living averages approximately $70,800 annually. Nursing homes are the most expensive at about $111,300 per year for a semi-private room and approximately $127,150 for a private room. Those are substantial numbers. When you look at those figures, the natural question becomes, how would you pay for that? Some individuals rely on Medicaid. Medicaid can help cover long-term care costs. However, there are important considerations. To qualify for Medicaid, your income and assets must fall below specific limits. If they do not, you may need to spend down assets to become eligible, and that process is governed by very specific rules. Spending down assets can significantly impact a financial plan. Assets used to qualify for Medicaid are no longer available for other purposes, including leaving a legacy to loved ones or supporting a surviving spouse. For some individuals, Medicaid may ultimately be part of the plan, but for many families, the idea of depleting assets before receiving assistance is not ideal. The good news is Medicaid is not the only option, which brings us to myth 2. Another common belief is that if you're going to plan for long-term care, you have to purchase traditional long-term care insurance. For many years, that was the prevailing message, and to be clear, long-term care insurance is one way to help pay for care. These policies function like other insurance products. You pay a premium, often monthly, and if you need long-term care down the road, you activate the policy to help cover qualifying expenses. On the surface, it sounds straightforward, but there are drawbacks. First, long-term care insurance can be expensive. Premiums can be substantial and ongoing. Second, It has one primary use. If you never require long-term care, the premiums paid over the years don't return to you. There's no payout to beneficiaries. The funds were spent to insure against a risk that may never materialize. For some people, that can feel like an all-or-nothing decision. The important takeaway is this: long-term care insurance is one option, but it's not the only option. There are alternatives that may offer greater flexibility depending on your goals and overall financial strategy. One alternative is a life insurance policy that includes a long-term care rider. Here's how that works. If you require long-term care at some point, you may be able to access a portion of the policy's death benefit to help pay for those expenses. If you use part of the death benefit for long-term care, that reduces the amount your beneficiaries would receive later. That's simply how the math works. However, this structure can help offset significant out-of-pocket expenses, and if long-term care is never needed, the policy still functions as life insurance. Your beneficiaries receive a death benefit, and the premiums you paid were not tied solely to one outcome. Another alternative is an annuity with a long-term care rider. Annuities can function like a personal pension, providing income for life. Some are structured to help limit exposure to market volatility. When combined with a long-term care rider, the annuity may provide enhanced benefits if extended care becomes necessary. While these strategies can offer flexibility, it's also important to understand the potential drawbacks. Life insurance policies and annuities with long-term care riders can involve higher premiums, fees, and contractual limitations compared with traditional policies. Accessing benefits may reduce the policy's value for beneficiaries, and certain riders may have eligibility requirements or waiting periods before benefits begin. In addition, annuities may include surrender charges or other restrictions if funds are withdrawn early. As with any financial strategy, it's important to review the details with a financial services professional to determine whether the structure aligns with your long-term goals and financial situation. The key point is this: there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Traditional long-term care insurance may make sense for some individuals. Hybrid life insurance policies may make sense for others. Annuity-based solutions may be appropriate in certain situations. Long-term care planning isn't about buying a product. It's about building a strategy that aligns with your income needs, legacy goals, risk tolerance, and overall retirement picture. The third myth, which is the belief that long-term care simply won't apply to me, may be the most human of all. It's an understandable reaction. No one wants to imagine needing extended care. But the data tells a different story. One government analysis, referenced in the article, reported that about 56% of Americans who turn 65 will need some form of long-term care services or support at some point during the remainder of their lives. That doesn't necessarily mean a nursing home. It could mean in-home care, assisted living, or temporary support following an illness or injury. It's not guaranteed, but it's far from rare, and the financial impact can be significant. Sometimes retirement assets that were meant to last decades or be passed down to children or grandchildren end up being used to cover care expenses. There can also be emotional strain. Adult children may feel pressure trying to provide the best possible environment for their parents while managing financial realities. Planning proactively can reduce both financial and emotional strain. Even if one spouse never requires long-term care, the other might. Long-term care planning is often family planning. Having a strategy in place can help preserve options, maintain financial stability, and reduce anxiety if care becomes necessary. A second Kiplinger article, Ways to Pay for Long-Term Care Expenses, reinforces the importance of planning. It notes that roughly half of Americans aged 65 and older will require long-term facility care at some point. According to Genworth's 2023 Cost of Care survey referenced in the article, the average annual cost for a private room in a nursing home is $116 to $800. Because of costs like that, early planning expands options and increases control. Funding strategies can include building cash reserves, though this requires significant savings. Traditional long-term care insurance. Hybrid cash value life insurance with long-term care riders. Asset-based long-term care annuities. fixed index annuities with long-term care income benefits, home equity lines of credit, if sufficient equity exists, reverse mortgages, which eliminate lifetime loan payments but may involve higher costs, selling assets such as real estate or investments, selling a home to help fund facility care, though emotional and spousal considerations must be evaluated. This list is not all-encompassing, and the appropriate strategy depends entirely on individual circumstances. Insurance may provide the opportunity to maximize long-term care benefits for some individuals. For others, asset-based strategies may make more sense. The goal isn't fear, the goal is preparedness. Long-term care planning is about maintaining choice, protecting financial stability, and helping ensure that if a challenging season arises, your family is focused on care and support, not scrambling to figure out how to pay for it. If you have any questions about long-term care or your financial strategy, visit my website at mnawealth.com or call my office at 866-973-3627 to discuss how my team might be able to answer your questions and address your concerns. It's our goal to help you prepare for the retirement you've worked so hard for.
Disclosure. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of M&A Wealth and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, M&A Wealth makes no representations as to its accuracy or completeness. This commercial shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or advisory services to residents where permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through M&A Wealth, a registered investment advisor in the state of Texas. Insurance products and services are offered through PNC Life Insurance Agency, an affiliated company. M&A Wealth and PNC Life Insurance Agency are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.